Okay, we're live here today on the 5-Minute Bark. We've got Wayne Meyers here from Burn It Up Coaching here today. I'm excited to have him on the show because we're going to be talking about a statement of purpose, a life statement of purpose. And Wayne is the expert. I mean, I've never found anybody better at doing this than this guy, Wayne, here today. So Wayne, say hello to everybody.
Well, thank you very much, Dennis. It's a pleasure and an honor to be on the 5-Minute Bark, and it's taken us several months to schedule this, and I'm grateful we waited because it's perfect timing.
Yeah, I like the shirt, by the way. I like the black on this. This is looking good out there. You look good on that screen.
Oh, thank you. Normally I'm in suit and tie. You mentioned a dress down, casual. It looks better on camera.
I like it. I like it. You look good. So, Wayne, you are very, very passionate about people, helping them live to their greater purpose, and that's why we have you here on the show today. And I've obviously noticed your talents. I've spoken to you for many hours about your purpose and what you're all about. So maybe why don't you explain to people first off, where'd you get this, unstoppable urge to be this person that wants to give back and create purpose for people?
I would say it started when I was young. I always was curious, and as I aged, eventually I decided to write an autobiography about my life. And when I was writing that, I discovered I had a second passion. My first passion has always been business, and my second passion has been mentoring. And in that process of becoming a mentor and working with others to identify what their dreams were, I started to write down what it is that was their vision. And naturally, fast forward in time to my work with Burn It Up Coaching, Chris Burns, America's #1 motivational speaker for fiery inspiration, we decided that the best way to help the most amount of people was to help them identify what they really want out of life. And so we created a document called a statement of purpose to help them do exactly that. And I've done hundreds of statements of purposes with individuals. We've done them in seminar rooms with a bunch of people in one room, and in a few hours we were able to help a bunch identify. And it's actually great when you have multiple people. Couples really can benefit from statement of purpose exercises. Did that answer your question?
Absolutely. Listeners, I want to share something really interesting that's happening here today too. Is a lot of very successful companies, they have not just the spokesman for the company, but they have a back end. They have the people behind them, the nuts and bolts that keep the company going. And Wayne is not the type of person that he doesn't have a social media exposure. He's not the one that wants to be in the limelight. He wants to be behind the scenes and getting the real work done. And you'll notice that here today. And obviously we kind of see a lot of things like that with the New England Patriots in football. They have all these people that are behind the scenes. They don't want the spotlight, so to speak. And they're just out there to truly just win the game, so to speak, really execute. And that's where their priority is. It's not being a superstar. It's not getting all the attention. It's more about results. And when we talk to Wayne here today on the show, you'll notice he's a very results related person. Statement of purpose. We did one. The reason he's on the show here today is I met him through Rachel Lee, and I got the unique opportunity to give him a ride home from an event we were at, and he was really great. He was just remarkable in helping support the event. And I said, yeah, I've always wanted to do this, and this. He said, okay, well, you ready? Let's do it right now. So we ended up being in my car till like 11 o'clock at night that night. Didn't know this guy. He just pulls out a clipboard and starts.
It was a great conversation.
Yeah, it was a great conversation, and started doing what we call breakthroughs. And it was just a really amazing thing. I'm like, this guy is so unique, because I had been looking for somebody in my life to help me with these things. And somehow, obviously, I got aligned with this guy, Mr. Wayne Meyers. So I've done the statement of purpose.
That you have.
Many of your clients have done the statement of purpose. What is the process you really try to use to get this thing accomplished in the utmost way?
It's interesting because when you ask that question, I want to go back earlier to where we started. It's true. I'm a very private person. I'm very cautious of my reputation. I'm careful who I publicly associate with. And I'm more than happy to stand by and with the 5-Minute Bark, of course. And it took us several months to schedule this. I want to point out that I only associate with the highest caliber of individuals. And so, Dennis, a compliment to you that you're one of them, and so is the 5-Minute Bark.
I guess I will take that as a compliment, because you've been very, very concerned about that to make sure that you want to be aligned with it. And I've seen it many times, even with the 5-Minute Bark itself. you weren't quite sure that this is a fit for you at first, and you often had your questions. And
what it is at Burn Up Coaching, we make a distinction between short-term and long-term thinking. Most people are instant gratification in our culture, but if you choose to go for delayed gratification, you have a much more aligned, connected, amazing route. Going forward, I also wanted to say that it was an absolute delight meeting you at Rachel Lee's event, and it was a lot of fun on that car ride back, and from that it was even more fun to discover as we started to get to know each other layer upon layer upon layer, and we got to the deeper levels to see what naturally arose, and that was a lot of fun. Now, to answer your question regarding the statement of purpose, where we're at in the process with that is very simple. Most people surprisingly think it's something you can place on a computer and you can just type it in and hammer it out. A statement of purpose is a living document. It's something that's best done in the following order. It doesn't have to be exactly in this order, and there are some variations on it, but the best way that I would go about it for listeners and viewers at home is grab a sheet of white paper and blue ink and write at the top a question. What do I really want? Then once you've got that in writing, go ahead and write the statement, my vision is, and start writing what does your vision of the dream or perfect life look like in 5 years. Don't go more than 5 years out. Go about 5 years. Assuming everything went perfectly well, write that. Then go ahead and write out what your strategy is. My strategy to accomplish my vision is. Then go ahead and write my mission in life is. And by the way, a mission is a 1 or 2 line statement that when someone asks, what do? You tell them, my personal mission is to help individuals identify, organize, and turn their dreams into reality. And it's true, I am more of a behind-the-scenes guy rather than in front. Spotlight, popularity, and notoriety have been, shall we say, gently forced upon me by circumstance. I was the guy who never wanted to lead, and here I am in the background still everyone's saying, come on to the show. So with that being said, going back to the statement of purpose, what you want to do is I also identify what your objectives are. And it's a very simple process. It's much like a pyramid. You start with a vision, which is the top of it, and you work your way down to, okay, what steps would I have to accomplish to do that? That's called your strategy. And if you can go from another analogy, you could say that the vision is the broadest and the most general, and the objectives are the most concrete and specific. One other thing I want to point out here is most people are surprised to learn that I always insist that we do the first draft in writing by hand. The reason is when someone just splashes some ink on the canvas, so to speak, and they just allow themselves to flood on the paper whatever comes to mind, you have things come up that they don't even realize is in the subconscious. And once you have that out on paper, we can now sculpt it on a second draft, and then you can type it up. I can also do it with someone by telephone where they dictate to me what they want and I can type it in. But the absolute best way is the handwritten version. And that's how I would start with the process. And then in the refinement, once we have it on paper, we can sculpt it again and again. As you know, we did several drafts for your statement of purpose.
Yes, we have. I do want to point out here that a lot of people out there like myself, we think we know our purpose, we know our statement, but it's never been put on paper. It's never been actually illustrated and broken down into segments. It's really what the thing that really was really cool when you gave me mine. It was really kind of broken down into sub-segments and sub-segments. So you can, when you go to look at it, now you have this something to build upon or build out for that matter, right? So because some of your dreams have not come true yet and you're building them out, and we sequence them all out. Another thing that you and I have talked about too that really made a lot of sense that I want to share here today too is we have all these ideas. We just stuff them in our head, and I kind of think of it as a trash bag. Like we take these really cool ideas that we have on this invention or this dream of a certain house and a certain relationship. And we just throw them all in that garbage bag up on top of that head, and they're all in there, and we access them once in a while, but they're not organized. And I think what Wayne does is he takes that trash bag and just empties it out on the floor, and he goes through it with you and helps you organize it and put the pieces in the places in the proper places so that they are more uniform and more readable and more, let's say, executable.
I would choose the word organized because we have all these, if you think of it as a rain cloud, all this stuff in the midst of our mind. And I love mind. I love accurate thinking. I believe we need mind and heart. And if it's hanging out in your subconscious or your heart or your mind and you're not aware it's there, or you're there but you're subtly aware, I know I want to do something, I'm not quite sure what it is. Clarity is power. and to be clear, and especially to drip it down into the ink of in writing or typed up on a computer and printed. There's something about physically holding a printed out copy of it or having it paper in your hand. This process of identifying and organizing it and transforming it or turning it into reality. Most people only talk about, well, actually, come to think about it, most people don't even speak about their dreams. First step I'd say is to speak it. And after you've spoken it, you can then go ahead and write it out and then take action on it. Burn Up Coaching, we say it's think it, speak it, do it. But as for a statement of purpose, I would say dream it, plan it, do it.
Yes. I want to kind of dive a little bit more deeper into you, because now we're here, we're sharing this statement of purpose, but there's several amazing things I've realized that you do that a lot of people don't do out there. And number one is you carry a little notebook or notepad around with you. And
That's true.
You track your day. Like literally before you go to sleep, you put what time you sleep, what you ate that day, what you spent that day. Can you kind of explain to us?
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is really neat. I mean, I only met one other person I know in my life that's done that. But
my answer to that is very simple. If you look up Richard Branson, Bill Clinton, and Albert Einstein, what did they all have in common? Aside from that, they're all great and historical figures. The answer is they all knew. Einstein said in a quote somewhere, and I don't know the exact quote, that he would never memorize information he could find available. He would just memorize which book it would be in, and then he'd reference the book and pull that when he needed the data. Bill Clinton and Richard Branson are also known for carrying a notepad or something to write notes, and they would write down all these amazing things about that was going on in their life, whether it was personal notes or people they met. Also, Leonardo da Vinci carried with him a notebook and copious amounts of notebooks. And so there's something about writing it down. There's an ancient Chinese proverb that says, the best memory is not as firm as faded ink. And I truly believe that's true. And I carry it, and I'm very organized. I am. Some people have referred to me as ridiculously redundant in my redundancies and organization and documentation. It's just who I am, and I have that system, and it allows me to, in the same amount of time in the day that others take all kinds of activities, to really stay focused, laser focused on what's important, and also know that instead of juggling in my mind 7,000 to 10,000 things, I'm only focusing at any moment on one, maybe two. If there's something that I want to remember later, I take my notepad out and write it down.
So then you take that and you journalize it now into a daily diary.
I would say more of a daily agenda. Or time management, priority management system is a better word for it. And the idea, though, is certainly every time I get an inspired affirmation, I'll write that, and that will get into a journal or diary or into curriculum. It's more of everything from the littlest things such as laundry to the largest of things such as important life discoveries that gets in there. Most of the time, though, it's just different things that people are telling me or things I want to send a follow-up call or something of that nature.
Also, you but you created a gratitude journal, and you've let me kind of take a peek at it.
That's
at
correct.
one point, and it's a gratitude journal that's actually handwritten versus typed.
That's correct.
And we've noticed also, you've showed me, is how your penmanship has changed over the years and how it's molded based on your emotions and based on your growth. If you could share, I know it's a very personal thing, but if you could share kind of, first off, the first day you started doing this, and it's been many years now, and maybe some of the reflections that and things that have come from gratitude.
Excellent question. If I look back on my memory, that started with me attending a 3-day seminar. On the second day, I met who would become my mentor. His name is Larry Gorin. And as we continued to build a relationship, Larry got me as a gift, I want to say it was December 2012, a couple years back, a gratitude journal. And he said, Wayne, I want you to take this journal. I want you to write every happy thought, every positive thought, anything you're grateful for in the journal. And so I started off with a roommate at the time, writing 3 to 5 things per day that I was grateful for. And I started with this very, very alphabet kindergarten level print. And then I did this again and again, on average once a day or once every couple of days. And as we did this exercise, we started to notice that the print was becoming curvy. And then it became cursive. And then it became beautiful cursive. And that became deep, heartfelt, connected, aligned cursive. this happened as I'm flipping the pages, I'm looking back at it. And what's very interesting about that is we started with, I am so happy and grateful now that, and I would state something I was grateful for. And in time, what ended up happening was certain words started to pop out. I am very open to anyone, regardless of your spiritual or religious beliefs. I was an atheist at one point in my life. But I will say that what came out of me, and you can call it universe, source, spirituality, is the word God started showing up in the gratitude journal. Thank you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also I started to become inspired to write different words. Instead of me mechanically thinking, okay, I'm grateful for this or I'm grateful for that, it became almost from my heart, this inspired thought would come to me to write in the gratitude journals a line. And start with just a line or two, and then I'd write a paragraph of thought, and then we would move on. And in time, it became where almost everything was inspired. And now I can write this extremely aligned, connected gratitude journal, and it's a lot of fun. You are correct. It's very personal to me, so I don't open that book to just anyone because it's got a lot of private information in it.
Yes. And on December 25th, 2016, you were writing in your journal. Why don't you explain that day?
I don't recall the specifics of that exact moment in time. However, like Albert Einstein, I could always grab the gratitude journal and take a look if I really want to.
Well, that was Christmas of this year.
Can you jog my memory of what I said regarding that?
Well, it's not so much what was said, but I ended up calling you while you were writing some of it.
Right. Yes, now I remember. I was going through a challenge in my personal life.
As we all do.
As we all do. And it was with my family, and I have a lot of work still in that area. You'll notice that as a motivational speaker and a breakthrough coach with Burn Up Coaching, I rarely talk about relationships, particularly family relationships, because I believe who should you listen to? Those who have results. In my family, I've learned a lot of valuable lessons. And one of those is that it's not a good idea to be around energies that just aren't in alignment. So when the energy is in alignment, instead of coming from battle or war or challenge, what I choose to do is I choose peace. And the most peaceful thing I could do was go write a gratitude journal at that moment in time. A lot of people don't realize gratitude journaling isn't just when you're really happy and grateful. It's also great when you're having a less than optimal, and we can always come from more than enough, but less than optimal experience with someone you love or care about. The best thing to do is leave it where it is, take a gratitude journal, walk to a nearby coffee shop, and start writing things you're grateful for. And it's like CPR for the heart. That's what I would describe it as. And in the process of that, you become uplifted, and when you return to the scenario or situation, you'll find that those same people, even if they're still present, are in a whole different state. And it wasn't because you changed them, it's because you changed how you were viewing it, how you were feeling. You were coming from love and gratitude, and that's what actually causes the change. I know for people who are coming from the head, they're going to be saying, that doesn't make any sense. And yet, that's been my experience of how it works. So at that moment in time, I was doing a gratitude journal, and I was moving from feel better to feel good. And I was right on cloud nine. All of a sudden, the phone rings, and it's Dennis Langlais. Hey, Wayne, want to go to a Christmas party? And I said, yes, I definitely want to. That is definitely a step in the right direction. So...
yeah, so it was really interesting. So we ended up having, and quite honestly, it just came into my head, and I wonder what Wayne's doing today, and maybe he might want to come to the party I'm having.
It was an amazing party. There were some amazing people present.
Some great people, yes. It was really fun, and
you know how to throw parties.
Yeah, it was really good. We had a good time, and a lot of people, you got a lot of great opportunity to share with people some different things and breakthroughs and stuff. So amazing person. So you do a lot of journaling. Some gratitude.
We haven't spoken about breakthrough. Can we spend a moment talking about that?
Sure, absolutely.
So Burn Up Coaching, it has an exclusive tool, technique, method, process, and it's my process. It's called the Meyers method, and it's a very advanced way of helping someone to break through whatever is going on in their life, to get their mind to work with them, not against them. It's very interesting because there's so many people in personal development who are doing things. Breakthrough is what Burn Up Coaching, as well as Statement of Purpose, specializes in. We do better than anyone else, we would dare say, in the world. Statement of Purpose, helping you identify exactly what you want to do with your life. And we also do extremely well how to help someone break through whatever is holding them back incredibly fast. And I'm talking within minutes. Something that would take someone days, hours, weeks, months, or years. We can get through that in minutes. There's also a follow-up and accountability there, so that's important. And we're also very good at confidence, but breakthrough is what I feel is by far going to be the most valuable contribution to the world, with identifying what you really want is a very, very important contribution as well, because if you don't know what you want, how can you get there? And you've experienced breakthrough as well. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience from...
Yeah, so I've got the lucky opportunity to spend many hours with Wayne, literally following me around. I've always wanted in my life to have somebody follow me around in my daily actions. And he would listen to the words I would use and the phrases and the emotions I would attach to these words and phrases. And he'd see the negatives and the positives, and he would carry around a clipboard and he would actually write down these words and these phrases. And at a certain point thereafter, he would then spend some time with me and share with me how I'm actually using those words and how they're affecting my life. So we would do what's called breakthroughs, and he would take me through this process and work through them. And it's amazing because, you go through the process, then you start working with them. And then one of the things I really like the best about it is how he helps you, I guess, use the right language and actually saying the words.
Right thoughts, right words, right actions, correct? Right language. Right. Most people are using a lot of kindas, sorta, and these other weak, wobbly words. When you want, and what you absolutely need to have, absolutely must, desire, require, have is strong, definite language. You have to be certainly certain, because if you're not certainly certain, if you're not double definite, if you're not absolutely, positively definite, and you're attempting to accomplish something, you're using some energy that's actually working against you. Can I share with you a story on this?
Yes, please.
3 people decided in life they wanted to be successful. The first man went out saying, I might win, I might win. Come help me, I might win. People came to help him. And he still didn't win, but after a lifetime of going at it and attempting to climb the mountain, he eventually got there and succeeded. So it was actually worth the effort. The second person said, I definitely won't win, I definitely won't win. Come help me, I definitely won't win. No one came to help him, and he didn't win. The third person went out and said, I definitely will win. I definitely will win. I definitely will win. Come help me. I definitely will win. People came to help him, and he won on his first time out. So the lesson is to use strong, definite, clear language, and then you will attract those who truly believe in you and those who are most likely to accomplish it. And while the jockey is not the only factor in the horse race, it certainly leans you at least 60% in the right direction if you're coming from the right energy. And I'd also like to add that any horse can start the race, but only the thoroughbred will finish. So you must be long-term and be consistent and be able to stay true on the path.
I don't want to get political here, and I don't want to use a political side of this at all, but I just want to talk about the person and what you're explaining here. Donald Trump is our new president. And he lives by that win. I'm going to win. We are going to win. All he talks about is winning. He repeats things over and over in definite, clear language. I'd love for you to explain how that really does help him to win, even though you would say he's not going to win. He's ignorant. He's this, he's that. But he overcomes and surpasses things because he continually tells himself and the people around him that he's going to win, that they eventually believe it.
I'll say this before. Let me preface this by saying I'm not right wing or left wing. I'm after the whole bird.
Wing. You have both wings.
Both wings, and I'm actually apolitical. I even write in my autobiography that I consider politics the antichrist of business. So with that disclaimer out there, it's also true that I'm a de facto expert on our new president. And while I preferred and continue to see him more as the billionaire who was on The Apprentice reality TV show, and that was the era when I grew up, I will say that the way he speaks is very strong. He's coming from power. There's double definites in him. He is very, very definite. In fact, if I was to imitate the Donald, it might sound like this. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Donald, and I'm very definite, and I'm certainly certain, so you might as well come join me because I'm going to win. He actually has a saying, and the saying is, work hard, have fun, win. I think it's a beautiful saying, and regardless of your political association, whether you're on the right or left, everyone can agree that that's great advice, and I'm grateful that he has brought that into the world.
Yeah, I mean, he's very definitive. I mean, you see it over and over again. He repeats
He's
things.
also a New Yorker, and New York culture is very definite.
Yeah, it's a definitive culture as well. Well, we're already running out of time. We're actually over time, but I don't want to stop this by any means. Is there any powerful information you would love to share with the audience here today? We got a lot of listeners here today that are obviously still tuned in after 24 minutes. Is there anything, something you could give as advice or powerful that you want to share with us here today for the people?
The main purpose of this interview is to discuss the statement of purpose. And so what I'd like to say to everyone watching this at home or listening in is figure out what you want to do with your life. Take a piece of white paper and write it down. If you'd like Burn Up Coaching, we've created a template that we can send to you by email that you can print out that would help you in this process. And if you're interested in that, you can dial me directly, 858-504-1679. Again, 858-504-1679. Or email us to burnandlearnnow@gmail.com. I'll repeat that one more time. burnandlearnnow@gmail.com. We, of course, do consulting. So if you're looking to have me or another one of our fantastic coaches with Burn Up Coaching work with you to identify for yourself how a statement of purpose could be of value to your life, we'd be honored and privileged to do that. Call us up. Let's discuss it. Start a conversation. The other thing that I'd also like to mention is if you're not just an individual, but you have a group, whether it's a business or you're a couple in a relationship, oftentimes, surprisingly, couples get a lot of benefit out of this process just as much, sometimes more than the individuals. Individuals identify their own statement of purpose, but when you have a married couple or a couple that are in a long-term relationship or business partners and you do your own and then you work with me and we all sit down together for a couple hours and identify a shared vision, a shared purpose, shared values, becomes extremely powerful. For a business to align your personal with the business statement of purpose is extremely powerful.
Yeah. So we've worked out a little agreement, and I was going to actually allow or provide, what am I saying? We're going to sponsor 5 free statement of purposes for 5 couples out there. And we've worked out an arrangement where I'll be taking care of the costs on that.
Yeah.
And
he basically is paying me in advance to do these. So it's free to you, the listener, if you take him up on this offer. It's a wonderful offer.
So what we're going to do is, a lot of people out there are in relationships and, you hear people, the whole relationship arguments and she's bugging me, he bugs me. And really what happens is you both went to the altar and you said you would do this, this, and this. You essentially did a statement of purpose to get married. But it's not written down. It's not discussed. It's not worked through, and it's not processed, and it's not organized. I'm going to give you the opportunity here today, 5 couples, to be able to take advantage of this on behalf of the 5-Minute Bark and Burn Up Coaching. Spend 4 to 5. This is a 4 or 5 or 6 hour process. He's going to do this. He's going to spend a day with you and make until this is complete to create a statement of purpose for that marriage or that couple, so that you can live by these rules. 5 couples will be taking advantage of this offer. It's an amazing offer, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime offer.
It truly is, and a lot of people may not fully get the value of it, so allow me to reemphasize the amount of value of this. For some will be priceless. For others, it's worth a lot of resources. Regardless, those who act are the ones who get ahead in life. And if you want to take a step in the right direction towards your greatest possible self, I strongly, from my heart and head, encourage you to take Dennis up on this amazing offer that he's presenting, that he's worked out with me to accomplish in Burn Up Coaching. Because the reality of the situation is there are so many people that watch this, but the real key, if you want to get ahead, is to take action. And this is an absolute amazing opportunity for you to receive huge value and to spend some time working with me in a one-on-one or two-on-one, if it's going to be couples setting, to really dive deep and discover what you really want. And I'm be very honored and privileged to do that. And I'm always excited at the end because of the aha moments and the stories of, oh, wow, I can't believe it. And that's what usually comes out of that experience.
It's so awesome. Listeners, thank you. Wayne, thank you. We're here in the 5-Minute Bark.
Dennis, thank you very much on behalf of Burn Up Coaching. We've enjoyed this encounter immensely, and we look forward to continuing to build our professional relationship together. And we also want to say thank you for choosing to step into your greatest possible self and inspire millions with this amazing 5-Minute Bark with real stories, real people changing the world through inspiration, entrepreneurship, and breakthroughs. And this is absolutely fantastic. And we're all fans of yours over here. So thank you.
Listeners, thank you for joining us. You're watching the 5-Minute Bark podcast on YouTube. If you like this episode, you just may like many more. Subscribe today by clicking the red subscribe button in the top right-hand corner.